Next is from Roger Alzate. Subject is AEW brand split. Buenos dias, K100 crew. I was listening to Slat Wrestling, and I don't know if the rumors are true. That AEW is
Who?
Slat Wrestling?
What's that?
I have no
Never
clue.
heard of it.
If the rumors are true, that AEW is thinking about doing their own version of a brand split and doing another show, which I personally think they aren't ready for. Do you agree, Conan Disco? Also, the reasons for the split is to keep CM Punk away from certain talent that don't want to work with him is ridiculous. Are they not grown men? How hard is it to sit with talent from a boss perspective and get the situation squashed? Thanks, K100 crew, for the great content. JoJo, stay buried. Nothing. Um, yeah, I heard that they might be doing another show. Like, this the last thing they need is another show.
Yeah.
It's like
What
it's
is it? It's starting in June or July. I think it's. I'll get the name for you. It's AEW Collision or something like that.
oh, for God's sakes, just another show with a bunch of matches that they announce and do 1 minute promos on Rampage and Dynamite to, whatever. I don't know, whatever. Um, I don't know if that story, bro. I'm not reporting on speculation.
Well,
I'm not gonna talk about
Yahoo reported it, and it's been reported
Well,
on the
no, no,
mat.
but no.
Yeah.
Talk about the story about
Oh,
Punk
about
supposedly
Punk
split.
and the
Right.
brand split.
That's
Yeah,
complete
right.
speculation because these dirt sheet guys have been so wrong on things these days. It's like I'm not going to comment on a speculative report. All right,
Right.
Coney, you got any question? Any comment
Well,
on
I've
this?
heard this is what might happen, and it may be true, but like you said, that's the last thing they need another show. He needs to let people help him book these shows. You know what I'm saying? Let
Right.
them write their own, and then you edit it. You
Right.
know.
Now, here's one thing that I would say is a detriment to have a new show. Like the whole point of having a brand split would be to eventually have guys from one show face off against guys from the other show, like a, all-star game, National League versus American League kind of. But if the guys on the one show aren't willing to work with Punk, then that's never going to happen, and it renders it a lot less
I
interesting.
just think
Bro,
that
no.
I just think that time heals all wounds, and at the end of the day, they'll do it for business. Maybe not right now because it's still fresh, but I think at the end they'll do it for business. I just think it's another way of them getting money. But I just think that if they don't fix the problem that they have, the biggest problem that's affecting them, it doesn't matter how much money you're making.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. Yeah.
Well, rumor has it that Punk's return may be the a feud with Jericho. So if that's the case, I'm looking forward to that because those guys will be fire back and forth on the mic.
Next is some Rocky Monroe, and the subject is on the road again. Hey guys, I've always wondered how professional wrestlers keep their massive, impressive physiques. You guys spend most of your time on the road, so I'd imagine there isn't a lot of gym hour opportunities. Um, how you keep their massive, impressive physiques?
Bro, everybody went to the
Dude,
gym.
God, I mean, come on.
Everybody.
That's one of the dumbest questions I think we've ever. How do you? I've always wondered how professional wrestlers keep their massive and impressive physiques. Dude, we work out and eat right, okay? Because do this. First of all, kazoo him. It's an atrocious email, and suspend him, okay? For the email not up to standards. Oh, here we go. Jared Aviat's back, even though he never really apologized last week.
Mm-mm.
Subject is worst faction of all time, the Dork Order. For me, how about you guys? Greetings, K100 fam. Thank you for taking my question. Just want to get your thoughts on the worst faction ever in wrestling, which is the Dark Order, aka Dork Odor. I heard the faction's still around, which is amazing to me considering they outstayed their welcome with the first month of their pathetic existence. And from all the seriously unfunny and sleep-inducing vignettes, to Brodie Lee's overacting, which would have made Hulk Hogan blush, to the various bland space cadet personalities in the group like Burt Reynolds, and of course the horrid channel-changing evil Uno Stacco. I seriously think that out of all the bad factions in wrestling history, that no group has had less of an impact for as long as they're lurking around as the Dork Order. Jared Aviat, I'm going to give you. How about the crew? Do you agree? If not, what would the crew say is the worst faction of all time? Curious as to your thoughts, and thanks, all the best, Jared. Bro, I think I would not disagree with this. I think the Dark Order is like one of the worst, dumbest factions. I never got it. There's a bunch of guys that just sit there with do their claw hand, and like they never really had a gimmick. They never did anything heelish, or they're just like they were like a bunch of nerds. I don't know. They're atrocious. And then we're in the main event picture with it was just they're like the oddities, but the oddities were more over, in
Mm.
WWE. So go ahead, Conan.
Plus, they had a lot of weird stuff like Cole Cabana was on there, but really
Right.
wasn't featured. They had Anna Jay there for what reason I don't know.
Right.
Um, I don't know if it's of all time, but for right now, I would say yes. And I thought Brodie Lee, by the way, was hilarious.
Yeah, they had some great vignettes and YouTube stuff when he was
Next
there.
is next is from Neil D'Souza, and the subject is Alex Hammerstone and Jacob Fatu. Hey guys, greetings from India once again. Conan, I really loved your WrestleMania speech. When Disco goes in the WWE Hall of Fame, do you think he will want you to induct him? Guys, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the future of Alexander Hammerstone and Jacob Fatu. A year ago, it seemed like the sky was the limit for these two up-and-coming wrestlers, but they're still in AEW, MLW. Have they peaked already? Do you see one or both of them going to AEW or WWE? Also, what are your thoughts on Tony Khan letting Keith Lee's pudgy grandpa wrestle Chris Jericho in the main event of AEW Dynamite? I'm really disappointed that Billy the Snowflake Body is temporarily off the show. He was on a fascinating one-way roller coaster ride to Meltdown City. I'm sure the episode of him eventually uploaded on K100 would have garnered far greater downloads and YouTube views than what Kevin the Aardvark Gill contributed to the show. PPS, Crazy Eddie, how about a rehash show of the best of Billy's whining about the dirt sheets? And that's from Neil D'Souza. Well, Billy's still on Twitter arguing with these marked podcasters every day. It's ridiculous. Um, what was the question here? Hammerstone and Fatu. I think that no, they'll be there eventually. They're very talented. They look great. I mean, do you think anything's holding them back, Conan?
No, I don't understand why they haven't been picked up because they're both main eventers. Fatu, I think, has more upside than Hammerstone, but Hammerstone definitely is a star. I have no idea why they haven't been picked up.
Next is from Slice Wire, and the subject is recommendations. Conan Disco. If a young wrestling fan had never watched Conan or Disco, what would be one match, angle, or feud you recommend from each of your careers? Just a match. That match I had against Benoit, I think, would be a good one because it was pretty funny. I went on kind of promo. He came out. It was like good TV. So, uh, what about you, Conan? Your feud against who's the guy? Pedro Aguayo. Would that be the
Well, the
probably the
build up to our mass match was incredible. So was the match. That I would watch that, and I would watch my Gringo Loco stuff with Eddie and Art Barr. That was really good too. My stuff with Jake the Snake Roberts was really good too. That's all Mexico stuff though.
gotta pick one?
And
They can
well,
choose. They
well, I
said
just
pick,
threw a couple.
Shoot,
I
well, I'm
just
saying,
threw a couple.
choose your favorite out of those.
I don't know which is a favorite. And then my LAX TNA I thought was really good too.
Right.
Next is from David Benson. The subject is Rocky mirroring WWE Night AEW. Dear K100 crew, with all the talk of Moxley's pitch of Rocky 3 regarding to CM Punk, and fans talk about the Cody Roman 2 rematch happening at Mania 40, I want to ask if the actual Rocky story in wrestling may be Cody Roman mirroring Rocky 2. Apollo Creed in that film said, I won, but I didn't beat him. Can you see Roman breaking Paige Morales' record, but constantly be reminded Cody had him beat? Having Paul Heyman or even Jey Uso afraid that Cody indeed could get the job done and encouraging Roman to let it go. But Roman actually is the one wanting the rematch more than Cody, all resulting in self-pride being his self-destruction. I just wanted your thoughts on this possibility. I think that stinks.
I like it.
P.S. Disco, has Rochelle Ryan ever headlined at your club? She's recently been being promoted being in Sapphires, but it's the one on the East Coast. Take care, all. David from Sacramento. I see her at the Starbucks by my house every once in a while. I think she did do an appearance at the club one time too. Yeah, that's a goofy angle with the guy babbled on and on about. I mean, bro, there's no way they've come up with the WrestleMania 40 main event right now, right? They just haven't. Conan, do you agree with that?
Yes.
Adam DeMoy, the guy who gets me heat with Tony Schiavone. Subject is Hardys and Elvis plus Schiavone in charge. Is it just me, or do any of you get this Elvis vibe from the Hardy Boys, where Jeff is the 1970s Elvis? Wore out and tired, but still pushed to perform because his manager Tom Parker had nothing else going for him to make money off of, like Matt. I just think that wrestling is the last thing that Jeff should be doing right now. P.S. Glad to see the validation that was correct about Schiavone being the AW mastermind behind the scenes, calling all the shots as seen on that new Exposing the Business AEW reality show, All Access. That is an interesting take on Jeff Hardy, that they're throwing him out there, and he's been hurt. And I don't know. It's kind of. What do you think about Hardy back on TV? Is it good for him? Or...
I think Hardy grew up wrestling as a wrestling fan, had his own promotion, with the backyard wrestling and all that. This is all he's ever wanted to do, and he can still do it, and he probably misses it. And this is him coming back because he probably wants to come back. And not some Colonel Tom Parker about let's try to get the last out of him. This is him. He wouldn't be back if he didn't want to be back, and it's better him to be around the boys and something he loves to do than have to be at home probably missing it and miserable and maybe going back to drugs.
Next is from Christopher Livingston. Somebody has too many belts. Hi, this is Carlton from Los Angeles. Huge fan of Conan Disco from WCW days. AAA has a lot of titles. How does Disco and Conan feel about the amount of belts the promotions are starting to have? Is it effective to have so many champions? The examples: AAA has Mega, Cruiser, Tag, Trios, Mixed Tag, and Women. AEW has World, International, TNT, Women, TBS Tag, and Trios. Ring of Honor has World, TV, Pure, Tag, Trios, and Women. WWE has Raw and SmackDown, and New Japan has IWGP and Strong. Bro, there's way too many titles in wrestling. Remember when Brian Cage, like there was a show on AEW recently. I think every guy that came out had a belt on, and like I go what was that belt that Cage has on? Remember that, Conan? And I found out he was 1/3 of the Ring of Honor Trios champions.
Yeah, right.
And he was wearing the belt on AEW Dynamite. And I was like, what on earth? It's like, it's obviously
this
too
guy
many.
says that
yeah.
WWE only has a Raw and a SmackDown title. They got more titles than that.
Yeah, right. Because they got Raw, they got Universal title, Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships, Intercontinental, USA, and they got rid of the 24/7. No, they don't. They don't have a lot for two shows. They only have two secondary.
Women's.
Yeah, but that's those are basic titles. The only other extra titles are USA, the US title, and the Intercontinental.
Yeah.
They got rid of the 24/7, which is a good idea. It was a stupid title, or did they get rid of it? I don't know. Hopefully, maybe that's on YouTube.
And by the way, I disagree. I think we have enough titles, and we got a world title, we've got the women's title, obviously. We've got a tag title, obviously, a trios title. That's where the trios matches started in Mexico, basically. And the mixed tag, which, we got I don't think we have too many titles.